It's 6 o'clock. Thanks for joining us for Anglia Tonight.
Welcome along to half an hour of news from your region. The texting detectives. How this couple dialed 999 only to receive a message an hour later saying that police were too busy to attend.
The not coming out is one thing, but the sending the text message is just something else, really. It's not acceptable at all.
More on that in a minute. Also on the programme, the fat of the land. A report out today shows our region's obesity hotspots. We'll take to the streets to test its claims.
Remembering Beijing, Victoria Pendleton relives her Olympic win and shows us that gold medal.
And on the beach, we head to the beautiful North Norfolk coast for our latest Summer on Your Doorstep. Well, we begin tonight with the couple from Cambridge who dialed 999 to report a burglar breaking into a neighbour's house.
But instead of an immediate response, Lloyd and Susanna Bishop received a text message from the police 1 hour later saying they were too busy to attend. And tonight they're still waiting to hear back. Emma Baker reports.
Susanna and Lloyd always have their mobile phones by their side. So when they woke up early one morning to see someone breaking into a neighbour's home, it was the first thing they reached for to call 999. So you can imagine the couple's surprise when they received a police response by text message. The text message to Lloyd's phone said, "Following on from your call earlier to the police, please can you contact us if you're able to establish what has been stolen and where from. At this time, we're struggling to get the police to attend general area due to other calls for service. Many thanks." The couple were amazed.
I couldn't go back to sleep because I was just totally shocked that the police, sent me a text message, more so in response to a 999 call, asking us to do something which we consider is their job, really.
The events went something like this. At around 4:30 a.m, Lloyd and Susanna woke up to what sounded like someone breaking a padlock. At 4:36, they made the 999 call. At 5:46, around an hour later, they got the text message from police.
A young couple doing their public duty, if you like, of calling the police because something doesn't look right. They see an individual, are then told basically, deal with it yourself. That is just not acceptable and must not happen again.
I spoke to Cambridgeshire Police here today, but they weren't prepared to discuss the matter. In a statement, they say, due to the number of emergency calls at the time, we were unable to send an officer. All calls have to be graded by their urgency, and at this time, there were a number of incidents which police were attending. The people we spoke to today weren't impressed with the text message approach.
I'd be disappointed. But in this day and age, I think it's what we're getting, actually.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be happy about that, because I think if you call the police, then you want an immediate response.
That's scary. That's really scary.
Since the incident on Sunday morning, the Bishops haven't heard any more from the police. They're now just hoping the text response was a one-off, rather than a sign of the policing they can expect in the future. Emma Baker, Anglia News, Cambridge.
Well, Emma was with the Bishop family just a few minutes ago and asked them what they thought about how Cambridgeshire Police had reacted to their call.
Well, Susanna and Lloyd are still waiting this evening to hear back from Cambridgeshire Police. But I can tell you they have now read the statement, and I'm joined by the couple now from their home. Susanna, you've read that statement. What do you think about the response?
I'm totally disgusted and annoyed, really, and I feel like it's a bad excuse for the reason why they didn't come out.
Now, they have told me that they do use text messages quite often during busy periods. Do you think that's an effective policy?
No, it's incredibly impersonal, especially at nearly 6 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, do you understand, though, that they obviously do have busy periods where they can't attend to every single event, or do you think that's just unacceptable?
Well, to a certain degree, had it have been 2 o'clock on the Saturday night, I might have understood slightly, but given the time of night that it did occur, there's no excuse for that at all.
OK, thank you very much to both of you. Well, I can tell you the incident has caused some uproar here in the area, and I'm sure this is not the last word we've heard on it.
I'm sure it's not. Emma Baker reporting there. Now, campaigners against proposals to build an eco-town south of Cambridge are celebrating tonight.
Tesco, the supermarket giant behind the scheme, have pulled out of Hanley Grange in the face of bitter local opposition. But it may not be the end of their development plans, as Linda Fairbrother reports.
At last, campaigners against Hanley Grange take down their faded posters. Tesco's have withdrawn from the scheme to build an eco-town on this triangle of land south of Cambridge.
Absolutely delighted. I mean, we were really beginning to get a very depressed feel around here because the goalposts were moving all the time. We didn't really know the plans or what they had decided to do, and they were changing them, you know, every 5 minutes. And to have this result is absolutely wonderful. We're delighted. The whole village is.
The plan was to build 8,000 homes on green fields here. Around 900 hectares of land was being put forward as development into the new eco-town. But then in June, the Wellcome Trust, who own that 300 hectares of land over the road, pulled out of the project. That meant that Tesco's was left with just 274 hectares of their own. They had been faced with bitter opposition, saying that far from being an eco-town, Hanley Grange was going to be an unsustainable disaster.
This is Tesco saying, OK, we understand that local people, local councils, MPs, everybody is against us. We have not a shred of support. Therefore, we're out of it.
And so, jubilation.
Yeah, I think there'll be more than a few pints of beer consumed tonight in the pubs in South Cambridgeshire.
But Tesco's have hinted they may be back with a new proposal. Their statement today said, "We recognise a proposal of this type has implications not only for the local area, but for the region. We also believe that a sustainable community stands the best chance of being delivered through a review of the regional spatial strategy." Andrew Lansley, one of 4 local MPs opposing the scheme, accepts that Tesco's may use this review.
That's the process. And we said to Tesco, if you want to make this application, if you want this to be the place you want to develop, that's where you should do it. But don't do it through this, you know, the sort of spurious eco-town idea that somehow it was, you know, especially sustainable, because it isn't.
Tonight, though, campaigners are on the victory path. Linda Fairbrother, Anglia News, Hingston, near Cambridge.
Now, how about this for some news? There are more obese people living in Peterborough than anywhere else in our region. That's according to a new fat map, they're calling it, collated from statistics issued by the primary care trusts.
Well, across the country as a whole, people are getting fatter. And looking at Peterborough, 1 in 12 people there are now obese. Carl Heidel reports.
It's not good news for Peterborough. The city has been labelled as having more obese people than anywhere else in our region. That's according to a new fat map based on statistics from primary care trusts. It claims Peterborough has 8.2% of patients being obese. Next is Norfolk, followed by Northamptonshire, Milton Keynes and Luton. Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire and Hertfordshire come further down the list, with Hertfordshire on 6.4%.
Government figures suggest that 2/3 of adults and 1/3 of children in the UK are either overweight or obese. And here in Peterborough, it appears that the obesity rates are gradually creeping up.
So why do people in Peterborough think their city is at the top of the regional fat table?
Just because big people like eating that much, it doesn't mean they're obese, is it? They're like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, they like food because they're bored and there's not enough things around Peterborough for people to do.
There are quite a few obese people here, yes, definitely. When you look around, I think maybe the sunshine brings people out and they're not wearing so many clothes, so you tend to notice a few more wobbly bits.
Why do you think that might be?
Possibly people have got a little bit more money to spend on fast food.
But public health dietitian Rachel Cook says that the reason the figures are so high is because Peterborough is getting better at collecting health data. Measuring body mass index is just one way to help people lose weight.
We've got a specialist obesity clinic here in Peterborough. We run weight management groups and group programmes, and we've got fun sessions for kids and families to prevent children becoming overweight and obese adults.
But Peterborough isn't the only place facing problems. Northamptonshire is 3rd in the table. But just because you're overweight doesn't mean you can't do something about it. Eating better, eating less and exercising more is a winning combination to lose weight.
all the health benefits, not just on the obesity side, but the health benefits of lowering the blood pressure, being good for the heart, real cross-section of benefits.
Of course, you don't have to go to the gym to lose weight. Any exercise for more than 20 minutes a day will help you lose those pounds. Carl Heidel, Anglia News.
And no, eating better doesn't mean eating chips. You can find out more information on that fat map on our website, and it also includes the figures for wherever you live.
Well, the address on the screen for you now, itvlocal.com/Anglia. And there's also useful links there too on how to tackle obesity and stay healthy.
Now, it seems that the body of a baby girl found in a recycling centre in Peterborough may have travelled miles through the waste collection system. Police were called to the plant at Fengate in Peterborough after a worker made the discovery yesterday morning. Officers now think that the newborn's body may have been collected from waste bins in Worcester. Detectives are appealing for help in identifying the little girl's mother.
A woman's had her jaw broken in an attack in Northampton. She and a male friend were approached by two men in Abington Park yesterday evening. When they refused to hand over cigarettes, they were punched and kicked to the ground.
Security staff have called off a strike at Stansted Airport. 33 baggage scanners were planning to walk out in a dispute over pay, but the strike has now been suspended after their employers, Airline Services, agreed to reopen negotiations with the GMB union.
Travel of a different kind. Plans for a guided busway between Houghton Regis, Luton and Dunstable have taken a major step forward. The government has given conditional approval for the £84 million congestion reducing scheme, which is going to be built on a disused rail track. Luton Borough Council will now select the contractors to carry out the work.
Well, still to come here on Anglia Tonight, the naming and shaming of litterbugs.
And we have the return of Victoria Pendleton.
Bedfordshire's Golden Girl relives that win in Beijing and shows us her reward for a lifetime of dedication.
In the air, we're in Cardington as the first international airship cruise since the 1930s leaves the famous hangars.
Yeah, the hat's on back to front, George.
Ooh. How do I brake?
And with another summer on your doorstep. Tonight, Sally Rorke's in the saddle as she takes us to the beach.
And we've been promising you plenty of sunshine this week, and look, it's finally here. Will it last though? And what about the weekend? I'm Amanda Houston, and I'll be back with your angular forecast at 6:25.
Coming up on tonight's evening news, more grisly clues rise from the ashes of this millionaire's mansion. Detectives find bullets in the rubble, but will they find this missing family?
And paddling on the dangerous side of life. We're with the daredevil canoeist who's praying he won't reach his goal.
All of that and more at 6:30.
Well, next then on Anglia Tonight, how we're being watched. Hot on the heels of our story last night about Essex police using their helicopter to spot speeding drivers, it's now been revealed that cameras are being used to snap suspected litterbugs.
Then wanted photographs are issued in the local papers to name and shame the culprits. It aims to deter people from littering by increasing the number of people who could face prosecution. Simon Newton reports.
Hi, I'm Simon. I'm a street care officer for Peterborough Council. Do you know why I've stopped you? Just seen you throw your cigarette into the floor and walk away. You've made no attempt to put it in the bin. I'm afraid I'm going to issue you with a fixed penalty notice.
If you drop litter in Colchester, this could be what greets you. 4 street care officers now patrol the town centre, and one of their jobs is catching litterbugs.
They have powers to issue fixed penalty notices and a £75 fixed penalty if someone is caught littering the streets of Colchester, especially in the town centre. And so they're the powers they have. They're fully trained and accredited by the police to give out these tickets, and we think it's making a difference in our town.
The officers can also photograph anyone they think has given false details, and it's that power that's causing the most controversy. Some believe that this scheme, however worthy, simply goes too far. Civil liberty groups say it smacks of a snooper state, where people are being photographed for the most minor of misdemeanours. The Police Federation have also raised concerns that civilian staff are being given powers traditionally reserved for police officers. One case in particular has caused controversy. 26-year-old Amy Heaps was caught dropping a cigarette butt. She claims she was so frightened that she panicked and gave the wrong address. The local paper named and shamed her, and now she's being prosecuted for littering and willfully obstructing an officer. Your critics will say it's rather draconian.
I don't think it's draconian at all. We're just fed up in Colchester with people treating our town centre like a litter bin. There are plenty of facilities there. We've given out loads of these portable ashtrays. There are smoking butts attached to the litter bins that they can use. There are plenty of litter bins in Colchester. There's no excuse for dropping litter in Colchester.
Colchester Borough Council spent £1.3 million last year on street cleaning. So do people here support this zero tolerance approach? So you would favour it as a move, not necessarily?
As a person who doesn't drop litter, I think it'd be great, yeah.
I think it's atrocious. I think it's quite counterproductive. I think it's over the top.
Yeah. Depends what the fine would be as well. How much would the fine be? 50p, pounds?
£75.
£75 for cigarette butts. I think that's a bit extreme.
So far, 274 people have been given fixed penalties for littering, and despite the criticism, the council say the name and shame campaign will go on. Simon Newton, Anglia News, Colchester.
I think a lot of people will be monitoring the success of that programme. Well, now, of course, the Olympic Games are over, but the success of some of our region's athletes has transformed them into international stars.
Absolutely. One young woman who's certainly in demand at the moment is Bedfordshire's Victoria Pendleton, after she won gold, of course, in the women's sprint cycling.
But today she took time out to speak to us amongst the whirlwind of other interviews and photo shoots. Rhiannon Mills went to meet her.
No sign of any bicycle clips or shopping baskets here. Instead, Victoria Pendleton is putting some sex appeal into cycling. And this is one pedalling pin-up with some serious sporting credentials. Today, I caught up with Stotfold's Golden Girl, back home and still coming to terms with the attention she's had since winning that Olympic gold.
Everyone's saying how you're feeling, and I was like, I'm not really sure, because it didn't really feel real. Everything happened not easily, but it went to plan and how I'd always dreamed it could happen. So it was a bit surreal, to be honest.
Back here in Stotfold and also Mildenhall Cycling Club, you have had a huge amount of support behind you. How important is that local support?
It's fantastic. I mean, especially now I live in Manchester, you know, I feel like I've moved away and abandoned this part of the country, but it's really nice that people still support me and follow me, and I get some lovely letters and cards sent from all these people that I've known through the years in cycling in this area, so it's a really nice feeling.
Now, clearly you're very well known for your cycling, but also you're becoming quite well known for the bits of modelling that you've been doing, including that shot of you on that bicycle. Yes. Do you enjoy that part of it?
It was good, actually. There's a little bit of airbrushing that went on there, I have to admit, but it was an opportunity to do something a bit crazy and something completely different. And being a girl, obviously, I'm not going to say no. Someone says dress me up in a frock and do my hair and makeup. I really enjoy it, so I think I'll always be like that. And I like baking cakes too, that's the truth.
Presumably now the focus is very much back on training. You were saying today you finally managed to get back out on your bicycle again. Is the focus now on 2012?
There's a lot of pressure going to be on the cycle team now, because we did so fantastic with bringing the medals. But I think, there's still more to achieve. And as a team, we're setting ourselves the highest standard. We want to be number one in the medal table, in 4 years' time. And I think that's what we're going to do.
Victoria hasn't had much time to watch her race back, let alone her family's reaction to it. Setting that winning time means more demands on her personal time, a string of TV appearances, photo shoots and award ceremonies. It's claimed that some of the Olympic medal winners are going to earn up to £1 million in endorsements ahead of the next Games. So it's probably no surprise that Victoria's been pretty busy over the past few days. Rhiannon Mills, Anglia News in Stotfold near Hitchin.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I see she's wearing her medal a lot.
Oh, yeah, she probably sleeps with it. I wouldn't
serious
let it
bling,
go, would you?
It?
That's fantastic. Now, the first international airship cruise since the 1930s has finally set off from Cardington Hangars in Bedfordshire.
Well, strong winds delayed its departure yesterday, the good old British weather, but first thing this morning it did leave for a tour of Europe.
Yep, the modern-day Zeppelin will take in the sights of the continent, travelling via London and Dover, across the Channel to Calais, and then passing over Dunkirk, Bruges and Ghent before flying over Antwerp, Rotterdam and Valkenburg. Well, our reporter Neil Bradford was there for the takeoff.
Dawn over Bedfordshire, and out of the darkness emerges a giant flash of white. Once again, an airship is operational at the famous Cardington Hangars. As daylight breaks, final preparations begin for a 3-day flight across Europe.
Our passengers, they're not actually coming to travel from A to B. They're on the ship just because they would like to travel. And I mean, look, we go today with a speed between 50 and 60 kilometers an hour. And we will fly 1 hour over London, then we will pass the White Cliffs of Dover, everything in 300 meters. We'll pass Calais, and then we will end up to fly over Brussels. So they really have time to enjoy the view.
Each of the 10 passengers has paid more than £5,000 for the privilege, among them a Cardington man wanting to be part of the village's airship history.
We enjoy the heritage of the sheds. We can see the sheds from our house. We were part of the Stop the Block campaign to object to a developer converting the sheds into a distribution warehouse. Having won that objection, we're now pleased to be able to take a ride on the airship.
And shortly after 7:30 a.m, he became part of that history as the modern-day Zeppelin took to the sky. And this is what many people here hope to see, airships once again flying over the famous hangars of Cardington. This is a truly historic day for the airfield, the first international airship cruise since the 1930s. The latest helium generation of Zeppelin is a world apart from the giant hydrogen airships of the past, like the British-built R101, which would have filled the entire hangar at Cardington. Tragically, it crashed on its maiden voyage, killing 48 passengers. In more recent years, various companies have tried and failed to make pleasure flights from Cardington a success. Today's spectators were delighted with the latest takeoff.
Brilliant, yeah. It wasn't as big as I expected it to be, somehow. But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Cardington steeps in the history of airships, and good to see this back here again.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? It's history.
As the modern-day Zeppelin made its way towards London, the cruise organisers left the hangars with the promise to return. Neil Bradford, Anglia News, Cardington.
Well, I think I'd like a seat, I just don't have the £5,000. Never mind. Talking about spending money, though, MK Dons skipper Keith Andrews is expected to complete his £1 million move to Premier League Blackburn later this evening. Andrews, who last season led the Dons to Wembley's success in the Johnston Paints Trophy and promotion to League One, underwent a medical at Ewood Park this afternoon. He'll be reunited, of course, with former Dons boss Paul Ince, who's now the manager at Blackburn. Andrews should sign in time to be included in Rovers' squad for their trip to West Ham on Saturday.
Speedway, and after months of uncertainty, Mildenhall's future has finally been secured. The Fen Tigers have been bought by Keith and Jonathan Chapman, the father and son team who've transformed Kings Lynn into one of the most successful clubs in the country. They've taken over with immediate effect and have already announced 2 new signings and installed a new team manager. The Tigers are currently bottom of the Premier League after losing all of their matches so far this season.
Now, can you tell where we're talking about now? Holcomb Beach in North Norfolk. Oh, it's given it away, hasn't it? There we are. It's a vast expanse of sand, sea and sky, and it's little wonder it's often used as a setting for films.
But the sheer size of the beach means that it's peaceful and tranquil, and also there's lots of fun to be had there, as Sally Rourke's been finding out in the latest feature in our series, Summer on Your Doorstep.
Most people come to the beach armed with a bucket, spade and sandals, but not me, not today. It's 6:30 in the morning and I promise you I'll show you Holcomb Beach in all its morning glory in a minute. But first, we've got a few friends to meet. Hi, George.
Hello.
Hi,
how are you, all right?
Good. They're gorgeous.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Should we get them riding?
Yes, we get them riding.
I'm not the only one who loves Holcomb. Its vast open spaces make it a haven for horses. As if the beach itself isn't stunning, seeing them ride across it is simply thrilling. They've come some 50 miles to run here from East Harling near Thetford.
George, why did you bring the horses to Holcomb?
It's like breathing oxygen here. I mean, the horses, they love it, and it's basically open their lungs. And even from us now, me walking from where we park the horse box and coming down here, my God, I just feel a different man.
Fueled by the fresh air, the temptation to ride on one was soon too much.
I take it this means it's my go?
Indeed, off you go.
Here we go.
Looked like a good idea, except that I hadn't been on a horse for 8 years, and it was about to show.
Yeah, the hat's on back to front, George.
Ooh. How do I brake?
Eventually, however, it did come back to me, and I quit while I was ahead. The dismount equally as elegant. A quick dip in the ocean, and then home time for this lot.
All right, guys, take care. See you soon. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And once again, silence.
I was going to ask a few other people what they thought about Holcomb and what they liked about it, but of course the beauty of this beach is that there is hardly anyone else here.
Keep on walking east and eventually you'll reach Wells next to the sea.
I think it's great to have somewhere you can, hide away and have a cup of tea. The kids can go and have a little sleep if they want to.
We love the sand and the sea, and it's just such a wonderful place to walk.
And because of what you see here, glorious open spaces to come and enjoy the Norfolk coast.
And with a skyline that meets both sea and sand, to me, this is summer, whatever the season. Sally Rourke, Anglia News, from Holcomb to Wells.
That is a lovely place, isn't it? Last time I went to Holcomb, I got very excited with my picnic rug under my arm, and I ran out to the beach only to find out the tide was out, and it was about a mile in the distance.
I've been on that beach as well. It is, but there's something very special about the beaches on the North Norfolk coast because they are so unspoiled, which is really
and of course
fantastic.
the Trooping the Colour horses go there every year, don't they, for their splash in the sea.
They do.
And their annual
It's also
holiday.
the beach where they filmed the ending of Shakespeare in Love. If you saw that film, she wanders off huge expanse of sand and sea. It's glorious, and that's been a lovely series, hasn't it? We've been to such different places. Last one's tomorrow. Do catch that because actually Rhiannon Mills is in the saddle but on a bike. She's pedalling from Willington to Bedford. That's a lovely one to watch.
And of course there is more details on our website, more details about Holcomb there, itvlocal.com/Anglia.
Well, now let's catch up with the weather.
For all life's ups and downs, insurance from Norwich and Peterborough. Sponsors of Anglia Weather.
Hello there. So that sunshine finally managed to break through today, and we are hoping it will do the same tomorrow. So then if we take a look at the pressure chart, we can see things are quite settled over the next few days, and that will feel warmer due to this continental air which is coming in from Spain. But as we head into Sunday, that warm air combined with the low pressure will eventually bring some showers and some thunder for the second part of the weekend. So back to tonight, and there will be some cloud around, but most parts should stay mainly dry. And it is going to feel mild in lows of 15 degrees. That's 59 Fahrenheit. And it's looking a similar picture on Friday. Rather cloudy start, but it should be mainly dry again. And by the afternoon, there is a chance of some sunny spells breaking through that cloud. And where this happens, it could feel quite warm with highs of 24 degrees. That's 75 Fahrenheit. So onto the outlook then, and if you're planning a barbecue this weekend, Saturday is looking like the best day for it. There will be a bit of cloud, but it should be mostly dry with some hot, sunny spells throughout the day, and we could even see highs of 26 degrees. That's 79 Fahrenheit. And Sunday will be mostly cloudy with the odd chance of some sunshine, but as I mentioned earlier, those thundery showers will move in by the afternoon. And Monday and Tuesday looking cooler.
Insurance from the experts at Norwich and Peterborough.
A Smirnoff and ginger ale. Discover the spirit of summer.
So we've still got a fair bit of cloud around tomorrow, which is keeping the risk of sunburn quite low. We can see we have a low index of mostly 1s and 2s, but we do have a 3 mixed in there too, which means some places could become a medium risk. And it looks like over the weekend it's going to be a medium risk for Saturday, Sunday and through to Monday. Bye for now.
I'm glad Amanda said Saturday's the best day for a barbecue. That's exactly my plan.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
I'm going to head for the beach, I think. It's time for us to leave you now, but do join us again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.